This is Savvy reSound, podcasting with purpose, hosted by Jamila Bay and Patricia Lambert. Produced by Red Shoe Savvy.
Hello and welcome. This is the Savvy reSound. I am Jamila Bay, joining you from the capital of the U.S., lovely Washington, D.C. And before I introduce our guest, I want to introduce my fabulous co-host to the north. Patricia Lambert is with us. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Jamila. Wonderful to see you today.
It is always a delight. And today also joining us is Lynn Cooper. She is the Chief Social Officer of Socially Ahead, which is an integrated marketing agency based here in Washington, D.C. And also I want to say congratulations to Lynn because she will be attending at the White House the State of Women Conference. So before President Barack Obama and Mrs. Obama leave the White House to go many blocks away but stay in the nation's capital, this particular policy conference looking at the state of female people is going to happen, and our guest today is an invitee. So thank you so much for being with us, Lynn. This is a delight.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be with both of you women, amazing women.
We often really do fall into that trap of being all things to all people and trying to be superwoman. I wonder, though, when we try to make that balance, how do we make sure that we're keeping our priorities central and also being kind and gentle and fair to ourselves while we kick butt and lay waste everywhere else?
So, Jamila, I hate to break the bad news to you, but there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's a myth that we've all been, fed. It's the best thing to do that I can see is you've got to prioritize and manage your life, but you have to have other people around you to help you. I think, as women, we don't want to ask for help sometimes. You have to. We are not going to be superwomen. So for me, it's a tribe that I have of women that help me out, that help me be accountable, and integrate it with technology to make sure I'm just where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Not a literal thing where it's a matter of setting up an alarm to go ding so that you go, okay, time to take this one to ballet, ding, okay, time to work on that proposal. Yeah.
Absolutely. I have that, and then I have the technology piece, but then I also still need a human because it's so easy to also hit that alarm and be like, whatever, I'm going to get to that whenever I get to it. I'm blessed that I have an amazing assistant who in fact, I'm going to erect a statue to because there's no way I would be able to do the things that I do without Chanel. No way.
The timekeeping thing or the assistant or the wonderful tribe of women that you have around you, those are things, and they're external to us as people. One of the things that I've watched happen repeatedly is that as women, we acquire things, we acquire people around us, but what's not changing is how we're thinking about ourselves inside. And that isn't an external piece. That is an internal piece. And it just seems to me that so many times as women, we justify the impression that some men have of us that we can't do it by sabotaging ourselves.
We also do a lot of things like say I'm sorry a million times or just. Those two words, we say a lot. We don't need to apologize for who we are. We don't need to apologize for being a woman, but we just need to be able to get out of our own way.
How do you do that? Because one of the things for me that I have to admit and I'm working on, when you sit there, or rather when I sit there with a dream journal, a vision board, and an ink pen going, what do I really want? How do I figure this out? I get confused, and I know deeply that I have a picture in my head where I want to get to. And the roadmap to get there is where I lose my way. It would be great if I had a fabulous Chanel of my own to make sure that I wasn't late to things and I was returning those calls that are pressing. In the meantime, until I get there, though, how did you find taking the vision of where you want to be from where you are. How did you find making those inroads connect?
I had my big vision, and I literally had to break it down into baby steps. And I really had to be like, okay, if I want to, particularly get this award per se or this accolade, what steps do I need to take? Who are the people that I need to find? It became almost like a project within itself just to get to that point. And it had to be on me. I think, the one thing as a woman, like, you have to know what you want and just go for it. Like, trust me, I've bumped and scraped my head a million times, my knees, what have you. But the bigger point was that I was there and I did it, and I didn't try to overthink it.
The other thing about the roadmap I find is that we designed this roadmap, and it's based on whatever we knew at the moment we designed it. And as we're walking down the road, we're finding other things that we learn and other options and opportunities. And then we have some choices to make. So it kind of goes back to what Lynn was saying earlier about priorities and hierarchies and deciding which is most important. So Jamila, I have a question for you. Where do you think is the impediment standing in the way of you getting down the road that you wish to travel on?
I am a chronic overthinker. I will plan, I will to-do list, the vision board thing is something that my friends who tell me that this law of attraction exists, they say I should do, so I spent my time cutting out little pictures and pasting letters like I was in a 4th grade art class. I don't know that was particularly effective, but if I get that car, then I'll know it did work. But for me, I think the impediment is that I will overthink and I will overplan and I will plan to do, and then months, weeks, years go by. The pull is not going to get any less inviting if I stare at it. It's inviting. I need to jump in and get moving. So my fear of my fear of inaction and my overanalysis is my own personal impediment, and I'm getting much better. I think collaboration is something that's very good for me. I would not be doing the Savvy reSound without you, Patricia. I would not be talking work-life balance in terms of another woman who is busy and killing it in her career unless I was able to bring you on, Lynn, to help bring some clarity to myself around those issues. And the thing for me is that so many other women message me, talk to me, and say the exact same thing. How do we do this? Well, you've got all this going on, and I don't know how you do it. The truth is, I don't know if any of us really know how we do it. I think it's in the doing that it gets done, and then we go, wow, I pulled that off.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Quit thinking about it. Do it.
Do it.
You're going to be going to this fabulous event, this conference, this opportunity to talk with leaders in your nation's capital about the state of women. What kinds of things are you hoping to be able to discuss, and what kinds of things do you want to see come out of this event?
I really want to know what these women are doing and how we then take, when we're talking about collaboration, Jamila, how do we get our missions to go forward? For me, my interest is in I guess it's an initiative that I started called STEM Her. And it started with me attending Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit about 2 years ago. And after I gave my talk, which first of all was amazing, the fact that I'm speaking in front of 600 of the most powerful Black women in the United States was just an honor in itself. But I did that and then got invited to a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation dinner, which was awesome. And they said, okay, well, what are the biggest challenges? And Dr. Beverly Tatum, who was the former president of Spelman College, said that her biggest problem was sending girls home when they owe only $1,000 or less. So imagine you going through college this entire time and all you owe is $1,000, and they have to kick you out and send you home. And so for me, since STEM was so passionate to my heart, what I did was created little funds for women who are studying in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, and it's $1,000 grant basically that they get just so they can stay in school. And I mean, it's been on a really small level for me, but I mean, I want to expand it. But I never want someone to go home for something as minuscule as $1,000.
Thank you for doing that. I personally know a number of women who had that very problem. You know, $1,000, $1,500 made a difference in them finishing a program or leaving a program. It's something that we Americans need to think about when we consider the debt load of our youngest, brightest people. But that, I guess, that's a rant for another time.
It's actually a rant for now, Jamila, I believe. And it's not a rant. It's a really relevant thing to have said. If we think as a group of women, if we think in terms of countries, if we think in terms of humanity, that someone who has skills, talent, knowledge, and passion is stopped from doing great things,
Right.
because of a very small amount, what is in North America, a very small amount of money. That is so short-sighted on the behalf of the institutions, on behalf of the governments, and on behalf of all of the rest of us who see the potential and the power.
So, Lynn, as the mom of young children who get to see their mother working very hard, making a difference in the lives of other people, I want to know, what are the lessons that you are actively trying to impart in your young folk at home so that when they get to the point where they are in school and beyond, they understand that they too can make a difference?
My daughter will put together little baggies with socks and tissues and what have you, like toiletry items, and she puts them in my car. So whenever we see anyone homeless, my daughter is quick to, you know, like, hey mom, go in the trunk and go get the bag. Like, my daughter's just one of those people. But I think that's because at every opportunity I possibly could, and probably because I couldn't get a babysitter, she's been at every tech conference, event I could ever be at. Of course now, you know, she's bored. She thinks that what I'm doing, I'm not cool in her eyes, which is hilarious. Until she sees me in, like, on TV or a newspaper, then she's a celebrity. But other than that, for me, I always wanted my daughter, especially my daughter. I mean, I love my son. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in his own. But for my daughter, I really just wanted her to see that if you put your mind to something, you can do it. And the other thing is, when the door doesn't open, take a window or whatever else. She's seen me plenty of times try to get into a situation or do something, and, you know, someone tells me no. No and me don't work very well with each other. So I find alternatives.
You're fortunate, your daughter's fortunate, that you had an opportunity to engage with her, to involve her, to have her present as you were doing your thing, as you were standing up and saying, this is what I'm going for, this is how I'm going to achieve it, this is the corner I have to go around. A lot of women are choosing not to allow that. They're choosing not to have their children, daughters or sons, with them while they're being professional, so that there's almost no role model if we don't do that. So Jamila, when we were talking earlier, you were sharing an experience about having a great goal and not getting down the road the way you had thought that you were going to get down the road. Has anything shifted for you and in the course of this conversation, and what are you thinking about that road now?
Get it done, get on to the next thing, which comes back to that key word, action. Not planning, not list making. Thank you for the inspiration, Lynn. It is so great to have you. Make sure that everybody knows how we can reach you and find out more about that, what you are doing.
You can find me online. I live there. On every social media network. You can find me under Socially Ahead, or you can visit me on my website, which is meetlyncooper.com.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you so much. And I very much want to thank my co-host, Patricia Lambert, who is always a fine tribe member and someone who can help to provide insight, encouragement, and frankly, she's really great at reading a life roadmap because she's been there and done that with a lot of things. So I'm fortunate to be part of this community of women who are genuinely delighted to see one another succeed. And I hope that I'm a worthy participant, and I hope to do my part. Until next time, it's been a delight. This has been the Savvy reSound. The world needs its women to stand up and to speak out. We are compelled to help women to find their voices, to believe in their voices, to find confidence in their voices, and to use those voices to make this a better world. We are compelled to make women's voices more important because the world needs it.